Hello everybody, welcome back to Ren Gaming. Right, we're going to have a look today at overclocking your graphics cards or your GPUs or your video cards, depending what you call them. They're all the same really, to be honest. These are NVIDIA, oh sorry, this is NVIDIA, I've only got one in this build. This is in my Corsair 250D, it's a GTX 770, the MSI one. Comes overclocked from the factory. It's a great card, so you don't really need to overclock it. If you want to get that little bit more out of it, and let's face it, we all do, we all overclock our processors and our RAM and everything else. These are some basic tips about doing it. Now, I'm not going to go too much into playing around with the voltage. In fact, I'm not going to play around with the voltage. There you go, I've just decided, because not being an expert, I don't want to give you lot bad advice, and I don't want, the last thing is for someone to cook a graphics card, and that's 200-300 quid's worth down the toilet. So, important things we're going to need. We're going to need a overclocking tool. Now we've got MSI Afterburner here. It's an MSI card, it comes bundled with it. It's a fantastic tool. Things you don't really need, but I would recommend, is Tech Power Up. Now what this does, this monitors everything about your card in real time. So you can see it's the NVIDIA GeForce 770. Different memory types, the bus width and everything else. It's got Hynix chips, so this memory is fantastic. It overclocks really well. Down here we have what the default clock and the clock is at the moment. It's exactly the same. The memory, you have to times this by 4, so that's 7012 I believe, and then this is what it will boost to. So we're not going to touch the core voltage. We are going to put the power limit up to 111 because we are going to be pushing this a little bit. Core clock, memory clock, we will adjust, but fan speed we are not going to touch because it's on auto. We don't need to. The hotter the cards get, the harder the fans blow, basically. So first things first, there's no point coming in here and sticking 200 on your core clock unless you know your card will take it. I mean, but if it's a brand new card, a virgin card, come in, do it in 20s. I mean, because all silicon's different. I've got lucky with this card. I mean, I can get it up to 12 and it boosts really high. Some of my other cards I've had in the past, I've really struggled to get above it. And it is the silicon lottery. Anyway, so core clock will go plus 20, enter, and then the same on the memory, plus 20 and enter. When you hit apply, when you look over at this has jumped up 20, it's only jumped up 10, but times 2, and then this has jumped up 20 as well, so this is the boost. Now you want to make sure it's stable. So you want to make sure it works, and there's lots and lots of different tools you can use. For convenience sake, I'm going to use MSI's Combustor. Now what this does is, this is like a Fermark test, and this one isn't terribly intense. It's only running at 1024 by 576, but it's going to give you an overview of how things are getting on. So the core temperature is 45, we're using 97% of the GPU, memory at the moment is at 74%, and the power's only at 66. I would recommend running something like this. Well, you're going to have to run it probably 20 minutes to half an hour because the card needs to heat up. You need to make sure things are working. Also with MSI, they have, let me just close that, they have the MSI Combustor. Now what this does, this has lots and lots of different benchmarks on it. So if we run this on extreme, we'll go to one of the fluid tests, I think. You can run it. And again, this is going to stress to make sure it's all working. So if it completes the run okay, happy days. Back out of that. I'll just pop that down there. And then, if everything's alright, plus 40, enter, plus 40, enter, and then apply. You see them jump up again. Everything's going up nicely. Same thing, let Combustor open, run it, make sure everything's going to be stable. If at any point it blues, well obviously if it blue screens, then you pushed it too far and you're going to have to go back in and wind it down. If you see any artifacts at all, which artifacts they mean like little black marks, just like pixels out on your telly, or if bits of the screen are missing, it's the same thing basically. Either you need to wind the overclock down, or your card's reached the maximum it's going to get to, and you just need to edge it back a bit. So once you've run this, we'll just let it run, come back out, just pop that down, plus 60, and so on and so forth. What you will do, you will hit a peak, like I say, where it will either blue screen or everything will stop working. Now I've got my profile saved on here. Now I've got 115 on here, so I went up to 120. It started to get a bit unstable, so I knocked it back down 5, which makes a GPU core clock 1200, and it runs lovely at 1200. We've got loads more on the memory on this as well. Now 1891. Strangely enough, I can't get it any higher than that, but that works out at about 7,500 to 7.5, which is blisteringly fast. There are some that go higher. I mean, I've seen people get these up to almost 8, which is just crazy. And on this as well, the boost comes in at 1252. Now that doesn't always tell an accurate story. For example, when I'm running certain benchmarks on this, it boosts up to 1350, so it's a big difference. So that's it really. What I will do is put some, I'll put some links in the description to these tools as well. Especially Tech Power Up. It is a great way of monitoring how well your overclock's doing, how well your cards are performing. Especially when you put things on show highs reading like this. So we'll put this on show highs reading, and then we'll run Combustor again. And what this will do, as this runs, and this is going to benchmark, but GPU-Z is busy getting all the data of how high the cards boost in and how hot it's getting and everything else. I will let this play through because we'll be interested to see how it comes out at the end. And it's amazing the difference this makes in games. Now this overclock, 115 and 276 on the memory, gives me about 10 to 12 frames on Battlefield 4, which I know sounds a lot, but it does, and it plays Battlefield 4 lovely anyway. Games like Tomb Raider and stuff, it comes in really well. It doesn't make a huge difference on Tomb Raider. It doesn't make a huge difference on Metro either, actually, but it's 2 or 3 frames, and sometimes 2 or 3 frames is a difference between 59 and 60, and we all like it to run at 60. Right. Now when we have a look at this says the highest GPU core clock was 1267.3, memory 1890. What else do we have on high? GPU load 98, and the max temperature was 62. Obviously the longer you run it, the hotter it gets, but these do like to run hot, so don't worry about 60s or 70s or even 80s really. Just not high 80s. If it touches 80, it's alright. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. I'm just gonna just run this and let it play out. Any questions, please pop them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. Like I said, I'm not an expert overclocker, but this will help you get a little bit more out of your games. So thanks very much, like I say, and I will see you all very, very soon.